Hello and welcome back to Projects in Java. Today we're going to continue working on our JSoup project. What we're going to work on today is allow the users to click the links and open up a browser. So let's go to our project and we're going to create a new class. And we're going to call this swing link. And this is going to extend JLabel. So here we're going to have a string called text and a URI. We'll call this URI. And then we need to create a constructor. This constructor is going to take two strings. The first one is going to be the text, and then the second is going to be the URI. So this is the link that we're going to be going to. And then we'll call super. Then our URI is equal to new URI. And we'll pass that the input string, so URI in. And then we need to surround that with a try and catch. Next, we'll set the text to text in. And we'll set the tooltip. This is the text that will pop up if you're hovering on the link. And that's going to be URI.toString. Next, we'll add a mouse listener to get that behavior of a link. And so when you hover on a link, the underline will go away, and you'll know that you're on that link. And we'll create the mouse adapter method, so public void mouse clicked. And that takes a mouse event. And if they click, we're going to open the URI. And we'll create a method for that. Then we have another method if we are entering. So this is when the user is hovering. And so if the user is hovering, we are going to remove the underline. And we're going to create a new method to handle this. So it's going to take the text and a Boolean variable. And here, before we set the tooltip, we'll set the text. And this time it will be equal to true. So this method that we're going to create is going to take the text input, and then the Boolean variable is going to determine if it's underlined or not. And the last method we're going to add in here is if the mouse is exited. So public void mouse exited, mouse event. And this is going to set the underlining back to true. Now let's create the set text method. So do private void set text. And that's going to take a string and a Boolean variable. We'll call this UL for underline. And then we're going to create a string called link. And we're going to check if URL is true or false. If it is true, the URL is going to be equal to U with the greater than and less than symbol. So basically we're adding the U tag to the text. And if it's set to false, we're just going to set it equal to the text. And then we'll call set text. And we're going to add all the other HTML tags. So we have HTML, then span, and we're going to set style equal to color. And this is going to make it blue. And then we're going to add the link. And then the closing tags, so /span and /HTML. And then next we'll create the open method. So private void, then open URI. Then we're going to use the desktop class. So we need to check to see if it is supported. And so the desktop allows us to open up files or URLs. And so if it is supported, we're going to create a desktop. And that's going to be equal to desktop.getDesktop. Then we're going to call desktop.browse. URI. And we need to surround that with a try and catch. Now let's go to where our links are. And we're going to change these to swing link. And so for the images, we're just going to use the link for the text and the actual URI. And then we'll come over here to the links. And we'll do the same thing. And here, instead of using just the link, we are going to use the text of the element. So that's going to be link.text. And that's the actual text that's in the element. And now let's go ahead and test this. So each of the links, the underlining goes away when you're hovering on it. And if you hover on it long enough, you'll get the actual URL. And same thing for the images. Let's go ahead and click on one. And it looks like that isn't working right now. Let's go ahead and go back to our swing link class. And here we need to make sure this is lowercase, otherwise it won't get called. Go and launch it again. Click on one of these images. And here we get the browser. And so this is a link, so it's going to launch it with the default application for handling a link. And in my case, that pulls up Chrome. And this completes the JSoup project. I hope you're able to use this to create more advanced website parsers.